During 2023, my family and I hiked our first passage of the Palmetto Trail, which happened to be the Battle of Blackstock Passage. So for 2024, we wanted to keep the trend going and hike another passage. That morning, we met at the USC Upstate parking lot where the trailhead is located. Notably, the University of South Carolina Upstate has a history that began in 1967 when the Spartanburg Regional Campus opened as a two-year college. In fact, besides being in the beautiful foothills in the historic Spartanburg County, the school remains a popular choice due to its tuition being lower than the national average. The school also boasts many clubs and organizations, as well as 15 collegiate teams known as the Spartans. Online, it states that USC Upstate is currently one of the top public regional universities in the country. With a 330-acre campus, over 50 undergraduate and graduate programs, and a diverse facility. Unfortunately, while USC Upstate does have a strict alcohol policy, the school is known to have tons of raging parties almost any night of the week. This, in conjunction with its large student population, has caused some negative occurrences in the past, as several shootings have taken place near and around the campus. Some of these tragic events include the 2019 death of Evan Gaines. Evan Gaines was murdered by 5 people, including Douglas Wright, who possibly delivered the deadly shot. This occurred during an attempted robbery. Evan would have graduated in 2 more months had he survived. Later in 2020, Roderick Lakeham Sparks was shot in the back near USC Upstate. He was a student of the college and was taken to the hospital where he died later that night. 3 men were eventually arrested and charged. The most recent shooting I found online occurred in 2023, resulting in the death of TQ Sims. It's hard to imagine, but TQ was left to die on the sidewalk. Later, TQ's killer, Zaria Owens, did turn herself in. During the hearing, the solicitor said that TQ was a father of a 6-month-old baby. In addition, the solicitor stated Owens stole his phone and gun before shooting him near her own 2-year-old child. These are only some of the violent crimes that have for a long time happened in the area. That being said, during our visit, we went very early, so we felt safe. We chose this passage as it is rated as an easy to moderate trail. On the Palmetto Trail website, it states that the USC passage is a 2.2-mile passage that dives into the wooded forest on the banks of Lawson's Fork Creek. Visitors may enjoy pleasant vistas in the winter months as the hard-packed dirt trail contours away from the trailhead at the rampy center and drops slowly towards Lawson's Fork Creek. Prior to reaching the creek, the trail forks. Users may continue either north or south on the trail. To the north or left, the trail follows a scenic route on a raised corridor above the creek. To the south or right, the trail parallels the creek before heading upwards towards the Hub City connection at Milliken. Amateur botanists may want to keep their eyes out for the dwarfed flowered heartleaf, also known as the Hexastylus naniflora, which is the only naturally occurring federally endangered plant in Spartanburg County. The creek is a typical Piedmont stream that forms within sight of the Blue Ridge Mountains and flows for 29 miles through Spartanburg County. Kingfishers, great blue herons, mallards, beavers, and muskrats are all common along its waters. In the spring and summer months, it is possible to encounter non-venomous water snakes. Contrary to a popular belief, there are no cottonmouths in Spartanburg County. After reading this, I had to check out that last fact, and it is apparently true. However, I would still be very careful, as I'm sure there are an abundance of copperheads and rattlesnakes that are still a threat. In addition, online it states the USC Upstate Passage is marked with yellow blazes, and a short spur trail is marked with white blazes. Hikers and bikers should wear bright colors during big game hunting season, which is about from the middle of August through January. Because portions of the passage are located within the floodplain, some sections may be wet during the rainy seasons. Luckily for us, we went during the summer, so we didn't have any worries about hunters. On the other hand, our problem with this trail is that it wasn't very well marked. As a result, we made at least one wrong turn and eventually had to stop. In fact, it got so bad that we had to use an app on my phone that my father had recently downloaded for me called All Trails to help us navigate. In addition to that, there were some parts of the trail which smelt like raw sewage, which I just recently found out prior to this video was a common complaint about the trail. One eerie thing that I noticed while hiking was that there were a lot of clothing items all over the side of the trail. Of course, my mind began to wonder why someone would leave their clothes. Maybe it's that this trail is just a hangout for some of the college kids or the city's homeless community. Some of the online reviews state it is a nice trail secluded with plenty of shady area, but trash was overflowing and many wood bridges, tables, and benches were broken and not safe. Another review read, this trail has significantly improved as a nature trail compared to the other trails off of 85. However, it could still use some maintenance and cleanup. Finally, the last review that I found helpful read, it was an okay trail for what it is, an access trail for a sewer line that runs along a stream. With that being said, it was not well maintained, so it was overgrown at parts, and some of the sewer access points were breaking down, partially open, so you get some sewer smell at times. Glad I did it once, since it's very secluded and pretty at times, but won't be coming back. As for my own review of the USC Upstate Passage, we had a great time. As far as our in and out hike of the USC Passage, we ended at the gate on Business 85 right below the Peach Blossom Restaurant, which at one time was a fabulous meat and three restaurant, though I can't say how it is now. In fact, when my dad worked in Spartanburg, he would go there every Wednesday for their spaghetti special. If you're interested in taking a leisurely stroll, bird watching, running, biking, dog walking, or if you're trying to hike the Palmetto Trail, then maybe you should give the USC Upstate Passage a try. As far as my own review, we had a great time. I've never been on a trail with so many varieties of mushrooms. That being said, I am happy to mark this off of our list as we continue to hike the Palmetto Trail. Look, the trail goes this way. Yeah, the baby got some new shoes and they give him a blister. And I haven't been able to let it heal. And so I didn't want him to have to do too much walking with it.
Oh, muscadine.
Oh, they're white.
Gail, you test it out. Let Gail test it out. If it ain't good, you sure don't want to try it.
It ain't?
Well, that's it.
Let her see.
Is it good?
It's a little sour.
They get
Ooh, Miller, that's so sour. You want to stick your tongue on it?
And then you can smell them really good.
Stick your tongue on it, see how sour it is. We've been on trails with lots of snails. We've been on trails with lots of frogs. This is our mushroom trail. Isn't that cool? It's got like a hole you can look in.
But there's a spider web.
He's going to stay clammed up.
Cool. Look at that pretty
that's
turtle. Hey, there's a hornet's nest.
I don't see it.
Yeah, it's huge. I'm going to look close. Don't get too close, Miller. Is that the Lawson's Fork, ain't it?
I think we're supposed to be going toward Lawson's Fork.
I think that's Lawson
Is that turtles over there?
Yeah, maybe it is. It might be. Lawson Fork.
Can you see?
I can't tell. Oops. Look at the tree roots. Aren't they cool? Yeah, so somehow we ended up lower, but it seems less stinky than it was. And wet, too, so.
Maybe the right time it was stinky because it was wet.
Looks like a dinosaur foot.
Right. And I keep that.
That's called, yes, that's called sassafras.
I hope that you enjoyed this video and found the information I shared on the USC Passage Trail useful. As always, thanks for watching.